Israeli-Hamas War. Some syntopical comments. So let's get started, which I will do by describing where in the Middle East the fighting is taking place. And that place is the land of Palestine. Palestine dates back to biblical times of the 17th century BC, when three patriarchs of the Jewish people, responding to the call of their God, settled in what is now called Canaan. Today, this land comprises Israel, the Gaza Strip, and the West Bank. The Gaza Strip is a 25 by 6 mile sliver of barren land, densely populated, bordered on the west by the Mediterranean Sea, on the north and east by Israel, and on the south by Egypt. The city of Gaza sits at the north end of the Strip. It's the densely populated capital of Gaza. The Canaanites gave Gaza its name, which means strength in ancient Semitic languages. The West Bank is the name of that portion of land lying to the west of the Jordan River, and over time, this land gained names like the Promised Land, the Holy Land, as well as Palestine, which comes from the Greek word Philistine. And the people and countries surrounding this area fought for it, fueled by religious zealotry of Arab, today they are predominantly Islamic, Jewish, and Christian people. We use Christianity as a blanket term for the people in the United States and Western Europe. And the fighting has never stopped. Jewish people from the time of Christ and continuing even today have been the target of other peoples and nations that wanted to occupy their land by wiping them out. Over the centuries, the battles got the name the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. After World Wars I and II and the Holocaust, great numbers of Jewish people who had fled elsewhere for safety started emigrating back to Palestine, which they considered the Jewish homeland. And in 1947, the United Nations adopted Resolution 181, known as the Partition Plan, which sought to divide the British Mandate of Palestine into Arab and Jewish states. On May 14, 1948, the State of Israel was created, sparking the first Arab-Israeli War. The war ended in 1949 when Israel's victory and the newly formed Israeli government divided the land into three parts: the State of Israel, the West Bank, and it starts on the west bank of the Jordan River, and the Gaza Strip. 750,000 Palestinians were displaced to the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. And ever since then, battles plus economic and political disruptions and even wars have erupted periodically. For example, the 1956 Suez Crisis, the 1967 war that Israel won, and the mid-70s oil embargo and hostage crisis. And the surrounding Arab nations continue to wage economic, political, and periodic military battles against Israel and Israeli supporters. The latest conflict just started when, in early October of this year, 2023, war broke out between Israel and Hamas. Hamas is the military Islamist group that has controlled Gaza since 2006. News and political analysts say it's the most significant escalation of the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict in several decades. The word Hamas comes from Arabic languages and means zealous, strong, and brave. Its fighters launched a surprise attack from Gaza, catching Israeli by surprise and murdering women and children while bombarding Tel Aviv, which is Israel's capital, with missiles. You'll also hear about Hezbollah, a political party whose name means Party of God. Political analysts claim Hamas timed the attack to disrupt the Saudi Arabia-Israeli negotiations. When you watch the news coverage, for which social media adds so much, what strikes all reporters and viewers is the scope of the humanitarian crisis. As has always been the case in wars throughout the ages, average men, women, and children suffer the most. And we see in this war the impact of high-tech weaponry and the use of computers. They make fast strikes that are deadly. The most realistic reporters and analysts do not see a diplomatic solution. Both sides have a religious or nationalistic motivation and fervor to fight until one side annihilates the other. Previous diplomatic solutions have never worked long term. And the fact that Iran and other Arab countries have sided with Hezbollah makes for a UN mediation a pipe dream. Nations supporting either side have their own agendas. And when analysts factor in the Ukrainian conflict and the ominous, escalating threat Taiwan faces from China, just about all are pessimistic regarding a quick end. For example, Hamas has just placed President Biden and America's commitment to democracy and peace on the line. The news blares out headlines like this: Israel needs to destroy Hamas. Israelis shift tack from contain to crush. Here's another headline: Hamas atrocities reveal to the world its true face. And I'll stop here by mentioning an article titled Israel's War Will Never End, and it's subtitled, For Israelis and Palestinians, Ethnic Violence Isn't a Temporary Problem. It's a lasting identity. You can find it on foreignpolicy.com website. I thank you for listening, and I hope its contents I hope you find its contents helpful for understanding this war. So bye-bye until next time.